please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to the October 21st, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. My name is Susan Finch, and I'll be presiding as the hearing officer over today's cases. Let me start by introducing Ms. Colleen Marshall. She's with the Development Services Department. She'll introduce other staff participating in today's hearing, as well as go over any changes to today's agenda. Ms. Marshall.
Good morning, Colleen Marshall, Development Services. To my right is Carmen Mason of Development Services staff, and to my left is Cameron Clark of the Hillsborough County Attorney's Office. Through the course of the hearing, there'll be a number of staff planners that'll present and it'll be introduced for each item. Just one second, I'm having trouble with my computer to pull up the continuances.
It's Monday morning. No worries.
Okay. We have no changes to the scheduled agenda this morning. We have a number of withdrawals and continuances on the published agenda. Item A1, special use 240439. The applicant is Hillsborough County. This application is continued by staff to the November 20th, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. Item A2, variance 240995. The applicant is Cecilia Rivera. This application is continued by staff to the November 20th, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. Item A3, variance 241128. The applicant is Rolando Santiago. This application is out of order to be heard and being continued to the December 17th, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. Item A4, variance 241157. The applicant is Todd Pressman. This application is out of order to be heard and being continued to the November 20th, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. Item A5, variance 241192. The applicant is Jared J. Fisk. This application is out of order to be heard and being continued to the November 20th, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. Item A6, variance 241200. The applicant is Omar Saleh. And this application is out of order to be heard and being continued to the November 20th, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. And item A7, variance 241233. The applicant is Donald Ray and Rachel Ann Polson. And this application is out of order to be heard and being continued to the November 20th, 2024 Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. That concludes the withdrawals and continuances.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me start by going over our procedures for today's hearing. Our hearing today consists of agenda items that require a public hearing by the Land Use Hearing Officer. I'll conduct a hearing on each agenda item and will file a decision 15 business days following today's hearing. Our hearing today is informal. I'll ask questions related to the scope of direct testimony. I may call and question witnesses as I deem appropriate, and I'll decide all questions of procedure. I'll take evidence, but will exclude evidence that is irrelevant, immaterial, or unduly repetitious. Evidence may be presented in written form, and all testimony must be under oath. Hearsay evidence may be used to supplement or explain other evidence, but should not be sufficient alone to support a finding by me unless it would be admissible over objections in a civil action. Our order of presentation today is as follows. For the variance cases, Development Services staff goes first and presents their findings on the application for a period of 5 minutes. Second will go the applicant. The applicant has 15 minutes to make their presentation. Then we'll turn to anyone who wants to speak in favor, proponents. All total 15 minutes for proponent testimony. The same is true next when we go to opponents, anyone who would like to speak against a case, 15 minutes. We'll then go back to the Development Services staff person to ask if they have any comments or changes based on today's testimony. And then finally, the applicant has the last word with rebuttal for 5 minutes. You'll note that on our agenda, the variance cases are first, and then the end of the agenda are special use applications. The only difference in that order of presentation is in the variances, the staff goes first. In the special uses, the applicant goes first. Otherwise, it's all the same. All right, I don't think we'll have this with today's agenda, but just for the record, that 15 minutes for both those that want to speak in favor or against. If you want to speak during that time frame, I'll ask who wants to speak in favor or against an application. Please raise your hand. We also might have people participating virtually in this hearing, so I'll get a count of how many people want to speak, and we'll divide that 15 minutes as equally as possible. If you're in the room or you're participating online, if you are going to speak when you come up to the podium or you're at home, give us your name and address for the record. We are recording this hearing, and we want to make sure that we have everybody's information appropriate to which case. And then when you're done, if you're in the room with us today, if you can see Jennifer, she's at the end of the dais, there she is. She's with the clerk's office, and she has a log. If you could then sign in with your name, address, and the case number to which you spoke. Let me now ask Mr. Clark of the County Attorney's Office to provide you the legal requirements for appealing a decision made by a land use hearing officer. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer. My name is Cameron Clark. I'm an Assistant County Attorney. This land use hearing officer public hearing is for variance and special use requests. This is the time for interested parties to present evidence and testimony. Once the hearing officer has closed a case, the record of that case is also closed, and no new evidence regarding that case may be submitted thereafter. Any decision by the hearing officer may be appealed to the Land Use Appeals Board. Should a decision of the hearing officer be appealed, the evidence and testimony presented at this public hearing shall be the only evidence that is subject to review by the Appeals Board. In reaching a final decision on petitions, the Appeals Board will only consider the decision of the hearing officer and the record that's made at this public hearing. If an appeal is filed, the Appeals Board hearing shall consist of oral argument by the party appealing the decision, by county staff, and by any interveners, each of whom may be represented by legal counsel. The following shall abstain to appeal a decision of the hearing officer or intervene in an appeal. First is the applicant. Second is anyone who appeared before the hearing officer, presented testimony or other evidence, and is adversely affected by the decision of the hearing officer. It's the role of the County Attorney's Office to ensure that no new evidence or testimony is allowed before the Appeals Board that was not presented to the hearing officer at today's hearing. The County Attorney will recommend that the Appeals Board disregard evidence or testimony that is outside the record made at today's hearing. Any evidence presented to the Appeals Board that is outside the record created at today's hearing could jeopardize the legality of the Appeals Board decision, and the presenter of that evidence could hurt their own cause. The safest course of action then is to write down any comments that you make today and to repeat those comments to the Appeals Board. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. As I mentioned, all testimony must be under oath. So if you plan to speak today, could you please stand and raise your right hand, and I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you so much. Please be seated. Then with that, Ms. Marshall, we're ready to call the first case.
Right. Today's agenda, we have no vested rights, fee waivers, remands, reconsideration requests, site development variance requests, or sign variance requests, which brings us to section H, variance request. Item H1, variance 240989. The applicant is Martha Hernandez. The request is a variance to lot development standards. Staff findings will be provided by Chris Granlenard.
Good morning.
Present variance 24989. The applicant is seeking variances to the required minimum lot width to memorialize the subdivision of the parent parcel into 2 folios that were conveyed separately by deed. Variance 1 is to 6.01.01 of the LDC. The LDC requirement within the AS1 zoning district, the required minimum lot width is 150 feet. They're asking a variance for 17.55 feet, which would result in a width of 132.45 feet for the lot width. That's for folio 58393. And then the second variance is for 6.01.01. Again, the ES zoning district requires 150 feet lot width. They're asking for a variance of 16.56 feet. And that would result in a lot width of 133.44 feet. Lot width, and that's for the other folio 58392. Findings, the project ID 6801 is in review for the subdivision of the parcel into two subject folios. That concludes my staff report. Glad to answer any questions.
Just a couple questions real quick. First, do you know how this issue came to light?
Oh, it was being in review of, it was a site review it was done, and it was one of my site reviews, and I noticed that the lot widths weren't correct. So they
applied for a building permit or something like that?
They want to subdivide.
I see, okay. Oh, all right, so they were created by deed, but not, I understand. All right, and then what is on the two lots currently? Do you know? I can ask the applicant.
Yeah, I believe two homes,
Okay.
or a home, yeah.
All right. That was it. Thank you so much. I
Sure.
appreciate it. Is the applicant here? Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Finch. Melissa Strassner with Berlin Patton Ebling on behalf of the applicants, both Martha Hernandez and then Mary Saul Hernandez. And also Hector Rodriguez owns the property with Martha Hernandez. Would you like me to give an overview of the property location or just kind of go right into the justification? I know that Chris kind of gave the parameters of what we are asking for.
It's up to you. I've reviewed the file, so if you want to just
Okay.
get into the justification, that would be great.
All right, sounds good. With that said, I could probably just use the overhead if we may. First, to answer your question, Ms. Finch, on how this issue came to light, it was at the point of going to building permit. So Mary Saul owned the property first. She purchased it, or actually it was deeded to her by their father. It was the father's intent that the sisters would split the property. However, at that time in 2013, that Martha Hernandez was not ready for property ownership. So she held off for a bit, or I should say she wasn't ready for this property ownership. Once she became ready, they went ahead and went in for the property was deeded to her. When they went in for the building permit, they realized the issue with the lot width. However, when looking at splitting the property, I want to explain why it's split vertically and not horizontally. Because that's the big issue here. If it would have been split horizontally, like some of the properties that are a little bit closer to Lee Road that kind of goes into Serrano, then perhaps that could have worked. So let me go ahead and get this on the overhead.
If you put it on, they'll pull it up for you. Yep, there you go.
That should do it. So can everyone see that? Can you see that okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right. So what we have, just to orient you, this is Serrano Road to the north, and then the property is the full width all the way down past the blue here. What you'll see, and this was confirmed by FDEP, is that we have everything that is blue is wetland. So if we were to split the lot horizontally, which is this line here, sorry, I feel like I'm loud, and then we adhere to all the setback requirements. We have 50-foot front, 50-foot rear setback requirements, and then we also have the wetland buffer setbacks. And so the dotted lines here are going to be the 50-foot setback here and here. If we do that, you'll see we'll have, this is a manufactured home. So a manufactured home exists currently on Mary Sella's property. That's at 3331 Serrano. A permanent home would be built on Martha's side, which would be this easterly portion. So if we split horizontally, we'll create an issue here. We'll have to get another variance for this setback. But more importantly, Martha will not have a building pad to actually build a home. Because when you take the 50-foot front yard setback, we take the rear setback and then the wetland setback, that leaves it with an 850 square foot buildable area. There's just no way to build a home on that. So to save the wetlands and still give, Martha the ability to build a home on the property, we are requesting a slight variance. It's at 12% when we look at the lot width we're asking for compared to the required lot width. If it was 10%, we would have tried to do this administratively, but we just couldn't get there. So that is why we were here today, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Will that manufactured home remain on site?
Yes, it will.
And so absent the lot width issue, the two lots will meet every other AS1 requirement?
Yes.
All right, that was my only question. Thank you so much.
Okay,
If you could
thank
please
you.
sign in with the clerk's office.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? Seeing no one, anyone in opposition to this request?
I apologize. If I may, I almost forgot. We did get 2 letters in opposition last night. They
Oh.
emailed them.
Okay.
And I did not have the opportunity to get to my office and print them out first. But if I could get the overhead one more time, I'd be happy to show them.
Yeah, we can't take anything from an electronic device, a phone or a tablet, because you can't submit them into the record. But where were they emailed to?
They were emailed to Carmen. So Carmen does have them, the city clerk.
Oh, then they are, okay, then they are in the county's file.
Okay.
If you want to read them into the record and respond to that at rebuttal, I can do that.
Yes,
So go ahead and
sure.
read them in. We'll take that during the opposition, and then I'll turn to rebuttal, and you can respond to it.
Okay, so I'll read in the first email sent by Jose Gomez. He says, "My name is Jose Gomez. I reside at 3306 Serrano Road, and I'm contacting you to let you know my support for the variance requested at 3339 and 3331 Serrano Road. Ms. Hernandez has had to wait a long time to have her home built. Please do not have her wait any longer. Thank you for your time and consideration." The second was sent by Rosa M. Marquez and Jose G. Marquez. They reside at 3505 Lee Road, and they are contacting to let you know their support for the variance requested at 3339 and 3331 Serrano Road. Ms. Hernandez has had to wait a long time to build her home, so please do not make her wait any longer. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter.
Thank you. I thought
Thank
you
you.
said they were in opposition. So,
Oh, no.
Okay,
They were in
that's why.
support, and if I did say opposition, that was I needed to get my morning coffee this morning.
Okay.
They are in support, not
Okay.
opposition.
All right, that's why I said you could reply at rebuttal.
Okay.
So, all right, so that completes your testimony.
Okay, thank you.
And if you hadn't already signed in. Perfect, thank you so much. All right, let's just make sure that we called for anybody that wanted to speak in opposition, anyone to speak against this application. All right, seeing no one. Development Services, anything else? Ms. Marshall?
Nothing further.
All right, and ma'am, you have the last word if you'd like it, but you don't have to take it. You have anything else before we close?
No, ma'am, thank you.
All right, thanks, appreciate it. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-0989 and go to the next case.
Next item is item H2, variance 241160. The applicant is Victor Fernandez. The request is a variance to Citrus Park Village development standards. Staff findings will be provided by Carol Ann Peddle.
Good morning.
Good morning. Caroline Peddle, Development Services, again, variance 241160. So the applicant is requesting multiple variances to the Citrus Park Village overlay standards for an existing single-family home. So per LDC Section 31012F for facades, all structures on a lot shall be architecturally uniform. Facade shall be scaled proportionately on all sides of each structure. Architectural elements shall be applied in a universal and consistent manner on all sides. At least 60% of the area of the front facade shall be comprised of windows, window treatments, shutters, transoms, awnings, porches, doors, doorway treatments, recessed entryways, porticos, or other similar architectural elements. The applicant is requesting a variance of 17% to allow 43% of the area of the front facade to be comprised of these architectural enhancements. Per LDC Section 31012G for garages, a garage is required on each dwelling unit. The entry face of a garage access through the front yard, including a front yard functioning as a side yard, shall be set back a minimum of 20 feet from the property line which it is accessed. Additionally, garages shall be placed at least 5 feet further from the street than the front plane of the principal building, excluding a covered porch if present. The variance is for 11 feet to allow the garage to be flush with the front porch. The garage is located 6 feet in front of the front plane of the house. Per LD Section 31012J for windows, windows shall be provided on all sides of the structure at a minimum rate of 1 window per 20 feet of exterior walls, exterior length of the wall, or a fraction thereof. This requirement shall be for each wall. They're requesting a variance of 13 feet to allow for a rate of 1 window per 33 feet of the exterior wall length on the front, rear, and eastern walls. And then again for 31012J for windows, the bottom edge of a window header shall be at least 8 feet above the finished the finished floor. They're requesting a variance of 2 inches to allow for the bottom edge of a window header to be 7 feet and 10 inches above the finished floor. And then per the findings, so the building permit 2100198883 was issued for construction of a single-family home on the subject property. During inspection, it was discovered that the proposed home was in violation of LDC Section 31012 for F, G, and J, and a notice of violation was issued at permit 24000255. That concludes my report.
Let me just ask you a question, just for the record, make sure I understand. So this was a building permit that was submitted and issued back in 2022, it looks like?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And the home was almost finished.
Yes.
And so then how is it, did the permit go to zoning for review and then someone just missed those Citrus Park standards?
So it didn't go to zoning for review, and then when inspection came along, they realized it was in the Citrus Park Village overlay.
I see, so it was caught during an inspection?
Yes.
All right, so it didn't go to zoning at all for review?
No, ma'am.
I see, all right. That's all I needed. Thank you so much, I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Is the applicant here? Good morning.
Good morning.
Give us your name and address, please.
It's 7730 Amherst Street.
All right, and your name?
Victor Fernandez.
Thank you so much, go ahead.
So basically, she said everything that I needed to say, and I just came to realize that one day that I got a big violation notice on the front door, and so I called them, and they told me that it didn't go through the zoning review. And I said, is this my fault? Is something that I missed? And they say, no, it's something that the county missed. So I have nothing else to say. She said everything that needed to be said.
I understand. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you could please sign in with the clerk's office.
All right, thank you.
Is there anyone in the room or online that would like to speak in support? Come forward. While she's coming, anybody else that would like to speak in favor of the application? All right, go ahead. Give us your name and address. Good morning.
Hi, I'm his wife. I just want to clarify, the address is not 7730, it's 7760.
Oh, thank you so
She
much.
just missed that.
That's okay. Can you give us your name, please?
My name is Ladies Fernandez.
All right, thank you. And could you also sign in?
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the clarification. All right, seeing no one else in support, is there anyone in opposition to this request? Seeing no one. County staff, anything else?
Nothing further, thank you.
All right, and go back to you if you have the last word, if you'd like it. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
That's
It's
okay.
7761. We have had a few changes in the address, so I'm confused now. It's 7761
Okay.
Amherst Street.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-1160 and go to the next case.
Next item is item H3, variance 241165. The applicant is Gomez Towers LLC. The request is a variance to fence requirements. Staff findings will be provided by Jared Folan.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jared Fallon with Development Services. So this variance request is for a maximum height of a fence. Currently, there is a fence on this property which is located at 7101 32nd Avenue South. It is currently 6 feet, and this fence was cited by code enforcement. The maximum height in a front yard is 4 feet, but it was constructed at 6. So variance request is to allow for 2 feet above the allowed height.
Let me ask you a question. I was looking through the file, and there's a letter in opposition from, or perhaps opposition, but also asking from a neighbor in the record. And the neighbor says that there also is a fence on the adjacent property that he states is owned by this property owner, but it is titled in 2 different names. I did look it up. And so if you have any information about that.
I believe the fence was probably built at the same time, just across both properties, and then I'm not 100%, but I believe they sold it to maybe another family member or under a different name in the same
But not subject to this variance application. It's only this subject property.
It is only for this parcel, not the other parcel.
Okay, and the second question is, from those pictures that were submitted by that gentleman, the neighbor, it looked like it was a wrought iron fence with columns and a gate. Is the fence that we're talking about?
I believe so,
Okay.
yes.
And so are the columns 6 feet and the wrought iron is something less than that?
I actually don't have that information. I'm not sure. I believe the wrought iron, it's the minimum of what it is 6 feet. So I believe the wrought irons are 6 and the columns are maybe a little higher. But again, I'm not really sure.
All right, and so then that begs the question, I believe the code allows columns to be higher, is that right?
Yes,
So they
correct.
don't need a variance for something over 6 feet?
Well, I believe actually in the front yard, it doesn't matter.
Right, I just want to make sure, because they're asking for a 2-foot variance, which would get them to 6. I just want to make sure that they have what they need.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if if you want to.
It's Colleen Marshall, Development Services. I believe that the fence itself was actually 5 feet, and that then the columns were
Columns are
6. The code allows columns to be 1 foot above the maximum, as long as they're no wider than 3 feet in width.
Right.
So if the variance was approved for 6 feet for fence, the columns would be allowed up to 7 feet.
Understood, that was my question. Thank you so much, I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Is the applicant here? Is the applicant here for case variance 24-1165? It's agenda item H3. Yes, sir. Please come forward.
I didn't swear in because I didn't think I was going to speak.
All right, we could swear you in, and I see there were a couple people that walked in after, so if in a later case, if you plan to speak today on any case, if you could please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that, do you promise the truth, that, got me out of order. Do you swear the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat, sir, in the back, and if you could give us your name and address.
My name is Joe Pauly. I live at 7005 32nd Avenue South. I'm the one that sent the stuff in to you.
Well, hold on one second. So you're not the applicant?
No, I thought you said opposition. I thought it was, I'm sorry.
No, sorry. We were trying to find the applicant, so hold that thought just 1 second. Is the applicant here for that case? Don't go far, sir. Hang on 1 second. All right. Are we sure he's not online? Do we know? All right, so let's do this. Let's hold this case. If you could, sir, I'm going to continue this and take another case. We're going to try to find the applicant, so hang tight for a second. And Carmen or the planner will try to get a hold of him. So let's hold variance 24-1165 until at the max, the end of the hearing, and we'll go on to the next case.
Next item is item H4, variance 241168. The The applicant is Samuel Gonzalez. The request is a variance to fence requirements. Staff findings will be provided by Logan McCaig.
Good morning.
Good morning, Logan McCaig, Development Services. This is for variance 241168. The applicant is requesting a variance to the maximum fence height within the front yards of the property along Crenshaw Lake Road and Aspen Meadows Drive. Per LDC Section 60702 C1A, fences over 4 feet shall not be located within the required front yards except under certain circumstances which do not apply to this case. The applicant is requesting a variance of 2 feet along Aspen Meadows Drive and 1 feet along Crenshaw Lake Road, resulting in 6 feet and 5 feet high fences respectively. During review, staff found that the variance is related to code enforcement case CE 24006134. Additionally, it was found that the fence exists beyond the property line within the right-of-way area in multiple locations along the eastern property line abutting Aspen Meadows Drive and along the entire north side of the property abutting Crenshaw Lake. The applicant has committed to relocating the fence onto the subject property if the variances are approved.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is the applicant here? Good morning.
Good morning. The application number is variance 241168.
If you could give us your name and address to start.
Pastor Eliu Reyes, 710 Crenshaw Lake Road, Lutz, Florida 33548.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
We request a variance to allow a 6-foot fence on Meadows Drive of 710 Crenshaw Lake Road and a 5-foot fence along Crenshaw Lake Road. The principal reason for this request is to ensure the safety of those who visit our temple and school children that have a bus stop there, who use the location as a bus stop. We are of Jewish faith, and our temple is frequently targeted as trespassing and vandalism. Without a fence of this size, there exists no means to curb such discrimination. Pro-Palestine protests within a 10-mile radius of the temple have been erupted in response to the October 7th attack of Israel. Pair this with multiple vehicles that have entered and parked in our lot without authorization. We have young children among those who attend our temple, and there are numerous sexual predators in the area. We have also seen school children climb to the roof of our temple. We have made a dozen calls of service at 710 Crenshaw Lake. We understand that the fence is beyond the property line, and we will commit to moving this, fence to the property line if the variance is approved. Well, we've been there for 20 years, and throughout the years, we have seen just cars, because there was nothing preventing cars to come in. And when we would come for services, we would see different, beer bottles, needles, and different things on the property lot. Also, we've seen, trucks just come in and just park there and destroy our lot. The children, they have the bus stop right at the corner, and we would come in, they would be playing on top of the temple and stuff which, we don't want them to get harmed. The main reason is for our safety. We are of Jewish faith. We have the menorah and different Jewish emblem around our temple. And we're just trying to prevent the safety of, our people that go. Also, around the neighborhood, we have seen, and I think I submitted, other neighbors with the same height of fence around the Crenshaw Lake Road and also on the Meadows Grove Road.
You said just a couple things. You said that your temple has been in operation on this property for 20 years?
For 20 years,
Okay.
yes.
All right. And the fence was just recently put up?
Just recently put. We're a small church, and we gotta get donations and try to raise some funds. And finally, we had, you know, our roof and other things that we needed to repair. And finally, we got, you know, some funds to do this project, which it was in our agenda for a long time, and we finally got it done.
And lastly, do you have any evidence of those calls for police service?
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to submit those into the record. Okay. Yeah, you just give them to the clerk.
Over a dozen calls we have made, seeing strange vehicles going around our building. Our kids come out to service and they run around the parking lot, and we see cars just drive in high speed into our, do like a U-turn and to turn and all that. Yes.
All right. That was my only question. Thank you very much. If you could please sign in with the clerk's office.
Also, I have pictures of vandalism, and
You're more than welcome to submit those into the record as well. I'll review them. All right. Does that complete your presentation?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to sign in. All right. Is there anyone who would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? All right. We have 2 hands. How many people? I see 3. Okay. So that would be 5 minutes each if you want to come forward. And while he's speaking, if you all could come and line up, it makes it move a little faster.
My name is Ed Shedd. I live at 17011 Aspen Meadows Drive. Property abuts the church. Most of our neighbors, 14 homes on the street, lived there 20 years plus. These people are wonderful neighbors. Pastor Elu is wonderful. They're great people. We support the fence height variance of 6 foot that's on Aspen Meadows actually is privacy for both of us. It's a privacy fence. We just want to make sure, because it's tied into a violation, which I know is a different department, of the ornamental fence that's at the street on Crenshaw Lake Road. They're 2 different fences. One is a privacy fence, one is one you can see through.
I have seen the pictures.
But we support them having the fence. We just want to make sure that it does come in. Right now, it's a safety hazard at the street for us to turn on. We believe the property line's about 4.5 feet in from where it is now. They've totally said they want to do it, so we're supporting of that. Just want to make sure it's all a matter of the public record.
We will, when it's his turn for rebuttal, I'll ask him that question to get it on the record. Thank you. If you could please sign in. Thanks for coming down. Next, please. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Eunice Dominguez, 12205 Christian Court. I'm a congregant of the congregation. My concern was that shortly after the October 7th happening in Israel, we had several motorcycles circling our temple. I have a grandson that plays sometimes when we get there early, he plays, and it's a lot of concern for us because it's not the first time. I'm also the treasurer of the congregation, and sometimes I have to go to the temple and pick up the funds or do work in the office. And there have been times that I have gone, and there's been cars that I don't recognize on the property, and I call the pastor, and they're not authorized to be there. So that's my concern, safety for when I am there by myself. I don't know who's there besides myself, so.
Understood. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you could please sign in. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Pastor James Epperson with Angels Unaware Incorporated. We operate a group home at 701 Crenshaw Lake, right across the street. We wanted to come in support of the congregation and their fence. I'm surprised they haven't built that fence sooner. And it's, like they said, a previous witness, it's privacy on both sides. I've seen their security concerns. We've actually vacated our residents that had lived there because we're concerned for their security as well.
All right, thank you. I appreciate your testimony and coming down. If you could please sign in. All right, seeing no one else to testify in support, sir? All right, seeing no one else in support, is there anyone in opposition to this request? Seeing no one, all right. We'll close that part of the hearing and go back to Development Services. Ms. Marshall, anything else?
Nothing further.
All right, then, sir, we'll go for rebuttal if you want to come forward. The applicant? One last time. No, I just need to ask you a question on the record. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Just give us your name real quick.
Pastor Eliu Reyes.
Thank you so much. All right, so I just wanted to confirm on the record, I believe you testified to this earlier, but you acknowledge that a portion of the fence is in the right-of-way?
Yes.
And will be moved out?
Absolutely, and I agree with the neighbors. I will do that.
All right, thank you, and that was the only thing I had. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-1168. All right, have we located the applicant for the prior case? No, not yet. Do we have any hope, or should we just continue this to the next hearing so the gentleman doesn't have to wait?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Dan with HTV. I have a Dana Gomez that signed in just recently. I don't know if that is to the application number that you're speaking to.
I don't know. Let's verify the name.
I believe that.
That is him? Okay, then let's go back, and we will pick up application variance 24-1165, which is agenda item H3. We did refresh my memory, we did the staff presentation, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, then now we'll call for the applicant. That's how we got here. Okay, is the applicant here?
Mr. Gomez, just go ahead and unmute your mic. Hold on for 1 second. The mute button is at the bottom of the screen where it says mute, unmute. You're still muted, sir. We cannot hear you. If you log out and log back in, it should reconnect your audio. He's just logging out right now. He's going to log back in. Hopefully that reconnects his audio so he'll be able to provide his testimony.
Okay.
All right, he's logging back in right now. Mr. Gomez, can you hear me? All right, so let's unmute your mic. Are you seeing at the bottom of your screen a button that allows you to mute and unmute? Go ahead and click that for me, because right now it's not allowing me to unmute you. How about now? Can you hear me? Madam Chair, if you wouldn't mind just moving on, maybe I can work with Mr. Gomez offline.
Okay, absolutely. So we're going to continue variance 24-1165 as the last case on today's agenda. So we will come back to him and hopefully he'll be able to participate. So Ms. Marshall, that takes us to agenda item H5.
Next item is H5, variance 24-1190. The applicant is Giselle Borrego and Eric Lopez. The request is a variance to accessory dwelling requirements and fence requirements. Staff findings will be provided by Isis Brown.
Good morning.
Good morning, Isis Brown. I haven't been sworn in.
Okay, if there is anyone else in the room that will participate in today's hearing, this case or towards the end of the agenda and has not been sworn in, if you could please stand, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, Isis Brown, Development Services, variance 24-1190. The applicant is requesting a variance to accommodate a proposed accessory dwelling and an existing 6-foot fence on a corner lot zoned RSC4. The first variance per LDC Section 6.0702C1.A. Fences over 4 feet is not permitted in the front yard. The applicant is requesting a 2-foot variance to allow a 6-foot existing fence along the front yard on the northeastern property line. And then the second variance per LDC 611.02E and Section 611, accessory dwellings shall meet the principal dwelling. The applicant is requesting a 17.5 feet variance to allow, resulting in a 7.5 foot front variance on a front yard functioning as a side yard. The fence is along northeastern here, and then the proposed accessory dwelling would be this shaded area. And I'm available for any other questions if you have any.
So the only area for the fence is in front of that accessory structure?
Correct.
I see.
Yes, ma'am.
That was it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is the applicant here? Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Giselle Borrego. My address is 2123 Kennan Drive, Valrico, Florida 33594. I also have a 3D model of the property that I'd like to show.
Okay.
See that? Okay, much better.
Much better.
We're requesting 2 variances. And the first one is for a left side setback. And that was identified as we're going through the permitting process to build an ADU or additional unit. This would be a mother-in-law apartment that we're trying to build for my parents. My parents are both retired, unable to work with serious health conditions, their only child. We'd like to build this dwelling for them so they have a safe place to live where I can help monitoring their conditions. The requirement from a zoning perspective is to have a 25-foot setback from the property line, and the property line starts where you see the fence. Because our property has a pool in the middle of the backyard, we're not able to comply with that 25-foot requirement. Therefore, if we're not granted this variance, we would not be able to continue the process of building this unit. The second variance is for an existing fence, and you can see the fence there in the model. The fence is a 6-foot fence around the property. When we first purchased the property in 2015, it had an existing fence with the same specs, 6 foot around the property. A few years after we purchased it, we replaced the wooden fence with a PVC one that you see there, and we kept the same specs. It is a corner lot, and the fence is set back 57 feet from the front and over 21 foot from the side, so it doesn't block the view of the intersection.
Does that complete your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. I don't have any questions. If you could please sign in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the room or online that would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? Seeing no one, anyone in opposition? All right, no one. Ms. Marshall, anything else?
Nothing further.
All right, ma'am, you have the last word if you'd like it, but you don't have to take it. All right, okay, thank you so much. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-1190 and go to the next case.
Next item is item H6, variance 241229. The applicant is Fourth Property LLC. The request is a variance to lot development standards. Staff findings will be provided by Chris Grenleonard.
Thank you. Hello.
Good morning.
Chris Grenleonard again, Development Services. I'm here to present variance 24-1229. The applicant is requesting requesting setback variances to accommodate renovations and repurposing of two existing structures built in 1951 and 1953 to be utilized to expand the existing car dealership, Tampa Hybrids, located at 13627 North Florida Avenue, directly to the south of the subject property. Variance 1, 6.01.01 of the LDC section. Minimum 30-foot front yard setback is required in the commercial general zoning district. They're asking for a variance of 30 feet, which would result in a 0 lot line front yard setback on the westernmost building. Second variance request is 6.01.01 LDC section. Again, the 30-foot front yard setback is required in the CG district, and they're requesting a 12.6-foot variance, which would result in a 17.4-foot front yard setback on the easternmost building. The subject property was rezoned to CG, Commercial General, in July of 2024 under petition RZ 24469. That concludes my staff report.
I just have one quick question, and perhaps the applicant can also weigh in on this. The building, I understand, was constructed in the 50s, both fronting, is that East 130th, I believe, Avenue? The one that extends into the right-of-way. So that won't be remedied. It will, if the variance is granted, it still will remain in the right-of-way, is that correct?
Remain in the right-of-way, let's see here.
Mr. McKee, I'll ask you in a minute. So it's
Yeah,
the
okay, I'll
applicant.
just, if you, yeah.
No, if you have an answer to it, that would be great.
No, if the applicant would be better to answer that.
All right, Ms.
I
Marshall?
can jump in.
Yeah, please.
It would be in the right-of-way. However, the applicant in their statement also committed that they understand that that part to come into compliance would need to be removed.
Will be. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, we'll go to the applicant. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Hearing Officer. Chris McNeil. Good morning, Madam Hearing Officer. Chris McNeil, 15957 North Florida Avenue in Lutz, on behalf of the applicant. I have my, okay, yes, this is the location up here just off of Florida Avenue, north of Fletcher. The parcel that we're speaking of directly is this parcel on the north side. These two comprise of two commonly owned properties. Dealership is on this south property largely, but expanding into this north parcel as well. The building that we're talking about right now is this building here in this northwest corner that you can see. This pictorially is showing over the GIS line, but they're not exactly accurate. I'll show you that here in just a second. And this is the second building in the back that was built in 1951 as a single-family residence, but it's been used as part of its commercial property for as long as I can remember. This building, I believe, has always been commercial in nature, automotive related. Let's see, there we go. This is more accurately, this is survey grade, so you can kind of see exactly what we're talking about. That portion of the building would be cut off and removed from the right-of-way with the variance approval and be cut back to the right-of-way line. So there is no more encroachment. And then this one is currently at 17.4 here, as noted, and that would be that's the request to allow that to remain as is.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Here's another picture for you, just so you kind of have moving around too quick there, from the road. You might even recognize this building. It's been there, again, quite some time. And I've known it to be in this condition, as operating as a repair center or an automotive-related place since in the early 90s. The last picture I have here for you is kind of in the back, so you can kind of see through that chain link at that other residential structure in the back. And that, I close with any questions.
No questions. That was it. Thank you so much. Please sign in. All right. Is there anyone in the room or online that would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? Seeing no one. Anyone in opposition? All right. Ms. Marshall, anything else?
Nothing further.
Mr. McNeil, you have the last word if you'd like it. Anything else? Okay, perfect. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-1229 and go to the next case.
Next item is item H7, variance 24-1232. The applicant is Jason Kendall. The request is a variance to lot development standards. Staff findings will be provided by Logan McCaig.
Good morning. Logan McCaig, Development Services, for variance 24-1232. The applicant is requesting a variance to the front and rear yard setbacks for the purpose of building a single-family lot on the residence. Per LDC Section 60101, a minimum setback of 50 foot for both the front and rear yard is required in the ASC 1 zoning district. The applicant is requesting a variance of 16 feet along the front yard and 20 feet along the rear yard, resulting in a 34-foot front yard and a 30-foot rear yard setback, respectively. Zoning has no additional findings.
Just a quick question, because it looks like there is an easement both to the north and to the south. So it wasn't clear to me from the graphics which way the home proposes to front. Is it to the north or to the south?
The applicant accesses the property on the northern easement.
So it would face the north?
Correct. The southern easement does not appear to be utilized, nor were we able to find, us nor the applicant were able to locate any verification that the easement along the south is still in place.
Okay. That was my only question. Thank you so much. Is the applicant here? Good morning.
Good morning. Jason Kendall, 708 Lithia Pinecrest Road, Brandon, Florida. I'd like to explain the reason we're requesting the variances. The required front setback is required to face a public right-of-way, which is Little Road. If we were to face the house in that orientation, I'd be looking in the backyard of the house in front of it. The lot will be accessed by that private easement you just mentioned. We like the house to face in that direction, and it's a larger lot. It's an over 1 acre lot. So if we face the house in that direction, it limits it to a 50-foot wide house, which is a little small for a 1 acre lot. So the applicant or the owner is requesting a variance to both the front and rear setbacks, which in this case will actually be side setbacks, and we far exceed the 15-foot minimum if we were allowed to face the house in that direction.
Did I read in the backup, I believe, that there is an adjacent home that also faces this direction?
There is. That's across the street, across the easement that faces the public.
So it would be consistent with?
That is correct, yes.
All right. That was it. That's all I had, unless you had anything else.
Nothing else. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please sign in. All right. Is there anyone in the room or online that would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? All right. Seeing no one. Anyone in opposition? No. Ms. Marshall.
Henry?
Oh. Yes, sir. Is there someone online that wants to speak in opposition?
Ms. Henry, are you in opposition for this one? Go ahead and unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
that the one on Little Road? I don't have the application number in front of me.
This property is on Little Road, yes, ma'am.
Okay. The only question that I have, I mean, I'm not really opposed to it, but the only question that I have, there's an easement behind it, and it's like, I'm sorry. There's an easement behind it, and the road is not that great. I was just wondering about construction. How would that be handled?
All right, we'll ask the applicant when it's time for a rebuttal. But is that the only question you had?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you give us your name and address? I don't think we got it. If you could give us your name and address before we let you go.
Sure. My name is Twanaka Henry. My address is 3212 Little Road, Del Rico, Florida, 33596.
Perfect. Thank you for participating. I really appreciate it. All right. Is there anyone else before I move on? Is there anyone else that wanted to speak in opposition? All right. No. County staff, anything else?
Nothing further.
All right, sir, it's time for a rebuttal. She had a question about the other easement and how that will be affected in construction.
The easement to the south of the property will be not be impacted at all during construction. That'll be left in its existing state. Construction traffic will access through the easement to the north side, and it will be limited to the property itself.
All right, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we close?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-1232 and go to the next case.
Next item is H8, variance 241236. The applicant is a Root Project Management Group. The request is a variance to lot development standards, variance to permitted projections into required yards, and variance to fence requirements. Staff findings will be provided by Isis Brown.
Correct.
Mark, maybe take a step to the left.
Good morning, Isis Brown, variance 24-1236. The applicant is requesting multiple variances to accommodate an addition to an existing single-family dwelling, the location of the existing mechanical pool equipment, and an existing fence on a corner lot zoned RSC 6. The first two variances will address the primary structure, the single-family home, and the additions. Per LDC 6.0101, a minimum of 25 feet is required in the front yard in the RSC zoning district. The applicant is requesting a 0.4-foot variance to allow 24.6 foot in the front yard, which is along the north property line, serving as a front yard and functioning as a front yard. Never get it right. Okay. The second variance, also for the front yard, requesting a 10.1. Actually, no, that will be a 10.2. There's an error in the report brought to our attention, so it's actually, this is the variance being requested, which is 14.8. resulting in 14.8 and not the 14.9, which is just above right here. So the report says 14.9, so it's actually 14.8, and then the variance would be 10.2.
Okay.
All right. The next two variances addresses the pool equipment. Per LDC 6.0101, a minimum of 25 feet is permitted in the front yard. For the setback, the applicant is requesting a 14-foot variance, which will result in 11 feet for the pool equipment. And then also per LDC 6.0103I3, mechanical equipment such as air-conditioned pumps, heating equipment, etc., may project only 3 feet or more than 50% into the side yard. A minimum of 7.5 feet is required in the RSC 6 zoning district. The applicant is requesting a 3-foot variance, which will result in a 1.5-foot setback for the pool equipment along the south side of the property line. And the third variance is for, an existing fence over 4 feet in the front yard. The applicant is requesting a 2-foot variance, which will allow in a 6-foot fence. And I'm available for any questions if
No
you have any.
questions at this time. Thank you so much. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Is this yours? This is, okay, they're not seeing it upstairs, so let me try this. They're not seeing it upstairs, so. We have, go ahead and do your introduction, and then when you get to the PowerPoint, we're gonna have people come down to look at it for you. They can't see it right now.
But they can see on the
Yeah,
projection?
they can't see it, so
Okay.
just do your other part of it, and then.
Sí, sí, eso pasa.
Ms. Landano, do you have a printed presentation?
Yes, I have the presentation also in paper.
Yes, let's
because
just
they
do
are
that.
not able.
Let's just do
my
that on
name
the
is-
Elmo.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ruth Londono. I'm 1502 West Bush Boulevard, Suite D, Tampa, Florida, 33612. What I got to do is I got to project the same presentation here that I have on the PowerPoint. Okay, I'm here today in behalf of the owner for the property located on 5111 Nashville Drive, Tampa, Florida. The owner got this property, they have been living in this property since 2012. The owner, Rainier, got the property on 2017 and joined the second owner on 2019. That means that the current owners are Rainier Prieto and Misael Morales. They got the property in March 2024 this year. They want to go through a building permit. They submit the plans for half an addition for the first floor addition and second floor. The property right now is just 1-story building. They want to have the second floor on the same building, okay. They submit the permit on March. The record for Hillsborough County Building Department is HCBLD 24-0058545. The reviewer from the building department, they have some requests, some issues. One of the issues they request is that we need to go through a non-conforming structure determination because they got to keep the same building in this area. This is the layout for the building right now. And they found when they built this house in 1984, they found that we have the northwest corner does not meet the required front and side setback. And also The corner on the southeast corner, they have not meet the requirements for the front setback on this corner lot. We got through the non-conforming review, a structure review, and that was approved. Now we need to request, because they got to have an addition for the property, we got to request to have, this is actually the existing house. This is only one floor house. They got to, the floor plan, is they got to add this part in here, and they got to add the front porch. Also a little structure on the side that is part of the layout of the house. That is the reason we are requesting today setback for the primary house in the northeast corner to reduce the front setback from 25 to 24.6. And the second one is that we got to asking to reduce the front side acting like side yard from the corner lot from 25 to 14.8. That was the clarification the planner already have from the report, because on the report they have different numbers. On the report they have the result 14.9, but really we are requesting 14.8. Okay, the next. Okay, the next issue from the plan examiner from building department was in reference from the front porch, that is open porch. According with the planner, the building department plan reviewer, they request that we ask for to move the house back to meet the setback for the front porch. According with the planner for the variance, Ms. Easy said that that's not required because we meet all the setback for the front porch. That means that we remove that variance according with the report. That means that we are not requesting now for the front porch because according with Ms. Isis, we meet all the sizes for the front porch. Okay, the next variant is for the pump, for the pool pump that is on the rear yard or side yard that is 1.5 from the property line on the south, and on the east they have setback 11. We are requesting to reduce 25 to 11 and reduce from 3 to 1.5. The next, okay, that is from the pump for the mechanical equipment. Also, we are asking to reduce to increase the height for the fence that is located on the front yard that is acting like side yard. We are, they have 6 foot height, and the requirement is asking for height maximum, and we are requesting to increase 2 foot to have the 6. In that, that means that when all these variances be approved, we can continue with the building permit because we got to meet the requirement from setback for the principal house, the fence, and the equipment for the pool pump. If you have any question?
I do. I just have a quick clarification. My only question when I was reviewing this is when the current property owner bought the property, and I thought you said in the beginning 2012, but then in your graphic it said 2017, and it looks like they added somebody else to the deed. So is it 2017?
Yeah. No, the history is that they has been living from 2012, like rentals.
I see.
On 2017, they have the agreement with the owner to buy the property. Okay. And that was the first deed, quick deed, on 2017. But in 2019, they add the second owner.
Understood. Okay. That was my only question. Thank you so much. If you could please
Thank
sign
you.
in. All right, is there anyone that would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? Seeing no one, anyone in opposition to this request? No one. Ms. Marshall, anything else?
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Lindano, you have the last word if you'd like it.
I'm okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-1236 and go to the next case.
Next item is I-1, special use 241049. The applicant is Tiki Docks Tampa LLC. The request is a special use for COP-RX alcoholic beverage permit with separation waivers. Chris Granlard will provide staff findings after presentation by the applicant.
All right, and now, because we're in the special use section, the applicant goes first, so is the applicant here?
I actually just received an email that he was stuck in traffic, so he may not be here yet. He asked if we could move him to the end of the agenda if possible.
Absolutely. So we'll hold special use AB 24-1049 till the end of the agenda to wait for the applicant. So let's go to the next case.
Next item is item I2, special use 241123. The applicant is Morgan Parsons Center LLLP. The request is a special use to COP-RX alcoholic beverage permit with separation waivers. Staff findings will be provided by Tanya Chapella after presentation by the applicant.
All right, is the applicant here? If you can come forward, please. Give us your name and address.
Good morning. My name is David Lopez. The applicant.
Pull that a little bit towards you so we can hear you. There you go. Perfect. Go ahead.
The address is 140 North Parson Avenue North, Brandon, 33510.
Thank you. Just tell us about your request.
Yeah, we request a special use for expand the business and create more jobs for our community. And we are in business around 3 years. We are doing very well. It's a Puerto Rican bakery in Brandon.
All right. I just had a quick question because it's for the waiver to the distance requirements. And it appears it's the church, even though it's both residential zoning and the commercial use, it looks like the church is the issue. It's a little too close. Have you talked to them about your variance, your special use request?
No. I got some customers visit us. The place have a permit before. What's happening, we never renew it. So we lost it, and we need to do the whole process again. I'm new on this kind of business restaurants. I'm HVAC back before. So I don't know. Well, that's why we lost that. I'm new on these things, and we lost the permit.
That's a hard lesson to learn. When you mailed out the notices for this application to the adjacent property owners, did you hear back from anybody?
No.
All right. That was my only question. Thank you so much. If you could please sign in with the clerk's office, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Development Services. Good morning.
Good morning, Tanya Chapela, Development Services. The applicant is requesting a 2COP-RX alcoholic beverage permit with distance separation waivers to allow for a restaurant at 140 North Parsons Avenue. The applicant is requesting two waivers. The first one is a distance from proposed structure to residentially zoned property. The required separation is 150 feet. The waiver distance is 92, while the resulting separation is 58 feet. The second waiver is for the required distance from proposed structure to certain community uses, which is 500 feet. The waiver distance is 193 feet, while the resulting separation is 307 feet. The proposed wet zone area is located within a retail commercial strip center located on North Parsons Avenue, a major arterial roadway with approximately 85 feet of right-of-way width. The proposed wet zone area is located on the south side of the shopping center, furthest from the church property. The proposed wet zone area is also separated from the church property by West Morgan Street, a local roadway, with approximately 55 feet of right-of-way width. The bakery that is subject of the proposed wet zoning has a current existing wet zoning approval under Special Use 920426. However, it's expanding to a second unit within the shopping center. The closest residentially zoned properties to the proposed wet zoning location are located to the northwest of the subject wet zone area, and then they're owned and used by the church across Morgan Street as an overflow parking lot. No residential use exists on the residentially zoned property within 150 feet of the proposed wet zone area. Staff finds the proposed wet zoning does not pose new impacts on surrounding land uses, and the necessity for the specified distance requirement is negated. Staff finds the proposed 2COP RX alcoholic beverage permit to be approvable, subject to one condition. Approval is based upon the wet zone survey reflecting a total wet zone footprint of 3290.02 square feet, as shown on the wet zone survey received July 30, 2024. And the one condition is upon approval, special use 241123, the existing 2COPRX wet zoning of a portion of the premises, special use AB 920426, shall be rescinded. And this concludes my presentation.
Just one quick question, Mr. Pella. The existing alcoholic beverage permit, is that the same license? Is it a 2COP RX?
Yes. Initially, they came for a sign-off, and then we discovered that they were adding space to the wet zone. So one part is already approved, but they need to expand that. So
For
that's
the additional space in
Yes.
the shopping center?
Yes.
All right, that was my only question. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. All right, we'll ask for anyone that would like to speak in support. Anyone in favor? Seeing no one, anyone in opposition? All right, Ms. Marshall, anything else?
Nothing further, thank you.
Sir, you have the last word, but you don't have to take it. You good? Anything else you'd like to say? Okay, all right, perfect, thank you then. With that, we'll close special use AB 24-1123 and go to the next case.
Next item is item I3, special use 241249. The applicant is MD Brandon LLC. The request is a special use 2COP alcoholic beverage permit with separation waivers. Staff findings will be provided by Orlando Boras after presentation by the applicant.
Good morning.
Good morning. Albert Silva on behalf of the applicant. My address is 1511 Northwest Shore Boulevard, Suite 750, Tampa, Florida 33607. I'm here in connection with application number SUAB 241249. Applicant is requesting a 2-COP alcoholic beverage permit with distance separation waivers to allow for on-premises beer and wine service at its restaurant of approximately 3,900 square feet. The restaurant is an American diner concept, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, located at 1901 West Lumsden Road, Brandon, Florida 33511, within a commercial shopping center known as Brandon Center South. It is our understanding that one of the requirements under the Land Development Code for a 2-COP permit is that the proposed structure have a distance of at least 250 feet from residentially zoned property. According to the survey submitted with the application, the proposed structure does not satisfy this distance requirement without the need for a waiver. As previously noted, applicant is requesting a waiver of the distance requirement. Land Development Code Section 61111E3 provides for approval of separation waivers where special or unique circumstances exist, including where the necessity for the specified distance requirement is negated. Paragraph E4 of the same section of the Land Development Code contains examples of such circumstances, including the following example in subparagraph D. The proposed structure is located in a shopping center or other non-residential development which has a wall, natural feature, or other travel barrier separating it from the residentially zoned property and/or the community use, resulting in a normal route of travel between the proposed alcoholic beverage use and residentially zoned property and/or community use, which meets or exceeds the required separation distance. As noted in our application and acknowledged in the staff's report, the proposed structure for wet zoning is currently separated from the residentially zoned property by a masonry wall, a drive aisle, parking, and landscape buffer area. In addition, alcohol sales and consumption will occur inside the restaurant and on the outside patio on the opposite side of the building, which is not facing the residentially zoned property. Access to the shopping center will be from Lumsden Road and Providence Road, both of which are major arterial roads, and there is no direct access, pedestrian or otherwise, from the residentially zoned property to the restaurant or the shopping center. As a result, travel distance between the entrance of the restaurant and residentially zoned property exceeds the 250 feet requirement. Therefore, we respectfully ask that you grant our request for the special use. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
No questions at this time. Thank you so much.
Okay.
If you could please sign in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Development Services. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Orlando Burras with Development Services. Most of the information I'm going to be providing today has been already provided by the applicant. As you know, this is going to be a special use for an alcoholic beverage permit. The applicant is requesting a 2 COP alcoholic beverage permit with distance separation waivers for a restaurant. As it was mentioned already, the walking distance between the restaurant and the residential properties are going to be exceeding the minimum square footage that is established in the Land Development Code. There is also, again, like the applicant already mentioned, some landscape buffers, parking, and a masonry wall that are also going to be separating the residential properties from the restaurant. And staff finds this to be approvable, subject to the land development section of the code.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. If you
there
have any questions, more than happy to answer them.
Oh, thank you, but no, none at this time. Thank you so much. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? Seeing no one, anyone in opposition? Ms. Marshall, anything else?
Nothing further.
All right, sir, you have the last word. There you are. Anything else you want to add? Okay, thank you for that. Then we'll close special use AB 24-1249, which takes us back to the variance section. We were hoping the applicant was able to log in virtually. That's variance 24-1165. We'll go back to online and see if he was able to join us.
Mr. Gomez, can you hear us? Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. If you could give us your name and address to start.
Dion Gomez, address 7101 32nd Avenue South, Tampa, Florida 33619.
Okay, if you could tell us a little bit about your variance request.
Okay, my variance is, we have a fence, it's already built, it's higher than 4 feet tall. We were under the impression that we could build the fence as high as we wanted to, as long as it was like clear view into the house, which is obviously not the case. So what we're trying to do is keep the height as is. We have farm animals, and we were doing it for the safety of our animals and our own safety as well. And we were looking around the neighborhood before we built the fence. We saw other properties that had, front fences similar to the one that we built. So, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, we'll call for anyone that would like to speak in support. Seeing no one, anyone in opposition? Yes, sir, come forward. Thank you for being patient and waiting. No worries. Appreciate it. If you give us your name and address.
Joe Pauly, 7005 32nd Avenue South, Tampa, Florida 33619. I'm actually the neighbor to the west of him. When they bought that property, my main concern was the fact that they were building on room additions, which caused the right-of-way, the driveway, the fence, and everything else. I learned that you do have to have a permit for concrete columns, so that's something I learned. But that fence line went all the way through those two properties. Now, when the other guy was talking about beforehand, they bought that property together, and then the lot was separate when they bought it, so Julio Joe Gomez, I don't know how to pronounce her name, had to put the extra lot in that doesn't have the address, and then they just changed it to the LLC probably about 6 months ago. So my concern was that fence ran all the way down and it's blocking a non-vacant, I call it easement, but a non-vacant lot land or something. They fenced off all that, which, county property. That was my main concern. So when I talked to the code enforcement, Elabet Gomez and stuff, it was going back and forth, back and forth. I got no problem with the fence. It's great, But everybody, the house to the east of him is 5 foot wrought iron. This fence is black chain link. No big deal. My fence is all 5 foot. It was there since 1997 when the house was built. There's another house on 70th Street. They're 4 foot with concrete barriers, and then another house 4 foot concrete barriers. So 6 foot, he's higher than anybody, which I really don't care, but it's the point being that it was nice to be uniform all the way across 5 foot fence on our side of the street. But it is wrought iron chain link. On that property in general, my fence runs parallel on the property is 5 foot. He has a 6 foot, and then they put a 4 foot black chain link fence around this specific parcel. So, and the only thing really in there is dogs and then some chickens. The other lot, they have property. They have animals and stuff. Neighbors across the street have horses. They have a 4 foot fence as well. But I'm not opposed to the fence at all. Just make that point. My main thing was blocking off that non-vacant thing. And when I called in to whoever, they told me that this was 2 separate properties. But at first, they all thought it was one. But because now they changed the ownership again and some other stuff they did, I guess that will have to be another variance for that side down the road.
So in looking at, in preparing for this hearing, I saw your letter and I looked at your pictures and I understand the issue because I too looked up if it was under one single, the same property owner. So let me just make sure I have your testimony correct. So you live to the west of this parcel.
Right.
Okay. So you're next to the parcel that's the subject of this variance, which is titled in an LLC.
Correct. He shares my fence. My fence is 5 foot on his house.
Okay.
So he's got 5 foot, 6 foot, and then 4 foot fence that they put up as well. But when the fence was built, it was his father and I guess his mother, David Gomez and Eulojo, or how you pronounce that, and then they changed it around because they just bought another house across the street and other stuff. But
all right, so let's just stay at the matter at hand. So the subject of this hearing is the property that is adjacent to you and the name of the LLC.
Correct.
And it's your testimony that you don't have a problem with the fence at all.
I don't have a problem with the fence at all, no. It's
Okay, so let's stop there.
Okay.
And let's go to the second parcel, and I'll confirm this with staff, is titled you would agree, is titled in a different name. Although perhaps they're related, but the names of the properties are not titled the same.
Right.
All right. So, and your concern is that fence, correct?
Well, it goes back to the beginning because when this was brought up, it was underneath, it was in a different name at the time. It was in.
But just make sure we're talking about the same property.
Right.
You're talking about the property that is past this to the east.
Yeah, but when I did this in the beginning, you can go back and look on the records, everything was tied in together and the code enforcement went through the whole thing. Now they're breaking it up and everything, so that's why I inquired. They're blocking off that part. I don't have a problem with the fence. It's fine. It is higher than anybody else, but it is what it is.
All right, and so let me just make sure for the record, what is your exact issue for coming down if you don't have a problem with the fence?
Well, my issue was the fact to make sure they was addressing which property he was going to address, because in the beginning it was all together, and now it's 2 different parcels.
Okay.
So I understand now it's just strictly the one house parcel.
Correct, and we'll confirm that with the staff, but that's my understanding as well. All right. Thank you for waiting. I really appreciate it. If you could please sign in with the clerk's office. All right, is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? Seeing no one, we'll go back to county staff. Ms. Marshall, if you could just confirm that exchange, that I have that understanding correct.
Yes, this is just for the smaller piece that I believe it's 0.65 acres that's owned by the LLC.
All right. And if there was a fence on an adjacent property, that would be a separate case, not addressed today?
Correct.
Perfect. All right, that's all I needed. Thank you so much. Then we'll go back to Mr. Gomez, I believe. You have, as the applicant, the last word for rebuttal, and if you want to address the gentleman's testimony, you're welcome to do that before we close. Yes.
We purchased the property with two parcels. It's always been like that. We haven't changed anything.
Okay, so you understand this variance is just for the property that's titled in the name of Gomez Towers LLC, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Did you have anything else you wanted to add before we close?
No, thank you, and sorry for the little issue this morning.
All right, it happens. Thank you for your testimony. Then with that, we'll close variance 24-1165, and we'll go back to the special use case that the applicant was not available. That would be agenda, special use AB 24-1049. Is the applicant here? Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, Keith Long, here on behalf of the applicant, Tiki Docs Tampa LLC, for SUAB 241049. Sorry, let me grab my breath here. I just ran up here. So what we're requesting essentially is the current property is operating under a beverage license that's being requested here today, the 4COPRX. What they've done is they're requesting approval to extend the consumption on premise area northward towards the river for additional seating for the clients. Per LDC 6.11.11, it does require that even if a previously approved COP is granted under a special use, that any modifications would require an additional request, and so that is the reason we're here today. With that being said, the distance waiver that's being requested is for a church, which is a community use to the south. During previous approvals, the request was approved. In this case, we believe that the requested COP addition is actually further away from that distance and further buffered by the existing use being the structure itself that sits in between the requested area northward and the church use southward. I would fully agree with the staff's report and recommendation of approval, including the condition noted, and I would stand by for any questions.
Just a couple,
Yes,
real
ma'am.
quick. So the reason is they're expanding the restaurant for this?
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the site, but it sits on stilts, and so there's some additional ground space below the stilts, the patio area that was previously approved. And so what they've done is they're hoping to allow for some seating on the ground area that's closer to the river. So there's not necessarily any improvements by way of permanent structures or anything like that. It's just some existing space that wasn't included in the original COP that they're hoping to utilize now.
So they're not enclosing any space, it's just that area under?
No, ma'am, that's correct. So it's like maybe throw some sand down there and a couple chairs or something like that, just for additional spaces for the patrons.
And then lastly, did you contact the church? Did you hear from the church that's the
We
subject?
have not heard from the church. No, ma'am. We spoke with them during many years ago for the original request, and during that, it's not on the record here, but we received a letter of non-objection from them at that point. And then, of course, they were notified via the mailers that went out for this case, and we have not heard anything from them, either in approval or opposition.
Okay, that was my only question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you could please sign in.
And I appreciate you holding this for me.
Absolutely. Traffic happens. All right, then we'll go to Development Services.
Chris Grellenard, Development Services. The applicant is requesting a distance separation waiver to a community use to permit a 4-Cop RX alcoholic beverage license for an existing restaurant, Tiki Docs Riverview. The community use is a church to the south, First Baptist Church of Riverview. The applicant is requesting a waiver distance of 100 feet, resulting in a permitted separation of 400 feet instead of the required 500. The total wet zone area will be 26,073 square feet, 9,495 inside and 16,578 outside. The proposed wet zone area is located to the northwest corner of US Highway 301 and a 6-lane major arterial roadway, approximately 130 to 150 feet in width, and Palmetto Street, a 2-lane local roadway, approximately 50 feet in width. Palmetto Street separates the proposed wet zone area from the existing church property. A portion of the proposed wet zone area, the waterfront area, lies within the wetland setback area for the Alafaya River. Therefore, staff consulted with natural resources staff to confirm the proposed wet zoning would be located within the wet setback area. Natural resources staff indicated that the proposed wet zoning would not be an issue within the setback area, provided no impervious or permanent structures would be permitted, such as temporary tables, chairs, or picnic tables would be permitted within the wetland setback area. The subject restaurant and the wet zone area is located on the northwest corner of this property, furthest from the church property. The patio and the open walkway waterfront area is located primarily between the restaurant building and the Alafaya River on the north side of the property, furthest from the church. The sidewalk along Palmetto Street ends at the easternmost corner of the subject property, and no sidewalk exists on either side of the Palmetto Street as it continues southeast towards the church property, making it difficult for pedestrians to walk between the two properties along Palmetto Street. Sidewalks exist along US Highway 301 and Balm River Road, where the First Baptist Church entrance is located. The pedestrian walking distance between the two locations utilizing the sidewalk is approximately 1,400 feet, which is much greater than the required 500-foot separation requirement. Additionally, the church building is located approximately 475 feet from the proposed wet zone area, and the closest portion of the church is the rear of the church building, which has no public entrances. The driving distance between the Palmetto Street access driveway for the restaurant and the Palmetto Street access driveway for the church is approximately 530 feet, and the entrances to each building have an even greater separation. For the reasons discussed, staff finds the proposed alcoholic beverage permit to be approvable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is there anyone in the room or online that would like to speak in support? Anyone in favor? Seeing no one. Anyone in opposition? All right, Ms. Marshall, anything further?
Nothing further.
All right, sir, you have the last word? Okay. Then with that, we'll close SUAB 24-1049. Is there anything else to address on this agenda before we close? All right, then with that, we'll adjourn the hearing. I thank you all for your time and testimony.